So the last theory we can use to explain the term structure of the interest rate is called the liquidity premium theory. Let's see if the liquidity premium theory can explain all three facts. So what's the liquidity premium theory? This theory actually is a combination of the expectation theory and the segmented market theory. So we can write out here. The long-term bond, the N-year bond issued by the T, is equal to average of the short-term bonds. So that's 1 year bond issued at the T, 1 year bond issued at the T plus 1, 1 year bond issued at the T plus 2, and this continue to the 1 year bond issued at the time T plus n minus 1. Because this 1 year bond here is 1 year from now, we don't know for sure, so we put E here, means expected. That's 1 year bond 2 years from now, we don't know sure, so that's the expected. So at least all the 1 year bond together divided by n, that's average. So this part is exactly same as the expectation theory, plus the one more variable we add here is I, TP, and T. So TP here means the term premium. This is based on the segmented market theory. According to the segmented market theory, the investors prefer the short-term bonds. Because first, short-term bond has what? Has high liquidity. Plus, short-term bond has a low interest risk. So in order to attract the investors by long-term bond has to offer certain premium. Otherwise, no one will buy long-term bond. So you can imagine the term here, term premium, ITP, because this is term premium, pay on the N-year bond must be positive or greater than 0. Because this additional interest, it will attract investors to buy the long-term bonds. So can we use this equation or liquidity premium theory to explain the three facts? So let's look at the fact 1. So what is the fact 1? Fact 1 say interest rate on the long-term bond are usually higher than interest rate on the short-term bonds. So we try to compare these two. Long-term bond with N-year maturity and a short-term bond with a 1 year rate. So which one is bigger? And we can see long-term bond is average of the short-term bond here. And the plus one positive number here. Remember, term premium is always positive. Because this positive number we add, so normally you can imagine the INT will be greater than I1T. So which means the interest rate on the N-year bond is normally the interest rate on the 1 year bond because of the positive the term premium we add. So this means the liquidity premium theory can explain fact 1. What about the fact 2? The fact 2 say interest rate on the short-term bonds are occasionally higher than interest rate on the long-term bond. And from fact 1 we know short-term rate normally smaller, but why occasionally? short-term bond I1T will be greater than INT long-term bond. So you can imagine, suppose the short-term bond I1T here is a very big number. Suppose it's a 10%. And you expect the short-term bond to drop over years, something like this. So when you calculate the average of this short-term rate, the number you get here from this first part of this equation, the number you get from here must be smaller than 10%, because 10% is the biggest number among the numerators. So the average must be smaller than 10%, because the drop of the short-term interest rate is a sharply from 10% drop to the 1%. So even this part, the last part, the term premium is positive. It is still not big enough to offset the decline of the short-term rate in the first part. So which means if the short-term rate, 1-year rate, are expected to decline sharply, the long-term rate INT could smaller than I1T. But remember, this case is rare, because normally people will not expect the short-term rate to drop sharply. So this also explains the fact 2. What is the fact 3? Fact 3 means the interest rate on the bonds of all maturity tend to rise and fall together. Can we use this equation to explain? Yes, we actually can use this to explain. It's very similar to expectation hypothesis. If the short-term bond 1-year rate here increase, other things remain the same on the equation, what happened to the long-term rate, INT? It will increase as well. But if you plug in the smaller number for I1T, or I1T dropped, the left-hand side of the equation will also drop. So from these arrows, you can see long-term rate and the short-term rate, they tend to move together. So which means this equation or this theory can also explain fact 3. So using this equation, the combination of the expectation theory and the segmented market theory, that's what we call the liquidity premium theory. Liquidity premium theory, using this formula, we can explain all 3 facts.